Right, to bring it back, just doing some tinkering while I'm waiting for a parcel with some crash bung stuff to arrive for the Triumph Sprint. Right, fire up Christine, and it's just on choke at the moment. Fires up a lot easier when that battery has been on properly on the tender charge, battery tender charger. So that was obviously a good thing to do. I normally take the battery off in the winter and leave it permanently on charge. So that was much better. It never starts fantastically unless it's been used daily, because obviously I've said this before, the fuel evaporates from the carburetor and the fuel filter over time. So if you use it every day, there's fuel in the fuel filter ready and in the float bowl, but obviously if you don't use it for a couple of weeks, that evaporates. You just have to crank it probably about 20 times until the fuel comes through. Anyway, she started fine, not too traumatic. So I'm going to let this do a couple of heat cycles on the fan. I've closed off the heater. I put it on cold at the moment so the engine will heat up quicker, etc. Just started up the BM again, got them both out at the moment. Waiting for, I was talking last time about the missing front crash bungs, and I was going to get some bungs and modify them and some bolts. Well, I had another scan a couple of days ago and I found this complete kit, same kit with the frames. All this framework here is part of the R&G crash. Anyway, I found a second-hand complete kit, including all the bits. It was £69 and a few pence. A lot of money for a couple of crash bungs, but a new kit's £150. And I figured, well, I can take the bungs off it, and I've got the spare bungs and the spare framework, just in case, heaven forbid, I should drop it on its side and I need to replace a bung, or I crack one of these. I don't know if these are aluminium or steel, but anyway, so I've got a complete kit minus the two front ones spare, because the front ones I'll be putting on here. I don't know how much they would have been to buy just on their own. I would imagine probably 30 or 40 quid. So whatever. Anyway, so when that comes, I should be just taking off just putting the front ones on where they should be. This is warming up to turn the choke down. Not quite fully off. The glory of manual chokes. Well, it was an automatic choke when I got it, but it was a dreadful VV carb, so I chose to put a manual choke Weber on it to have control. Anyway, so I'll be back in a bit when these parts come, and we'll put them on this, and that'll be a really short, almost pointless video again. So I'll see you in a bit. Oh, just on a little side note, I've ascertained that accessory plug, which you can't see, that accessory plug works. I've had my circuit tester in there and that's working fine, so I will put I shall do away with the flimsy dodgy again, and I shall revert back to how I was in the first place, where I had these on both chargers. I've got a spare one of these. This one will be going back on that charger where it came from, because I was using this charger for the BMW, which has the same plug. So I've just I plugged this in to the Triumph and then tested the ends, and I've just worked out green is negative, yellow is positive, because I didn't have any red or brown or whatever pens. So yeah, that'll be going back on there. and I can test these, but I know with these ones, the slightly rounded casing, this one on the left is the live, and this one on the right, the square, is the earth or negative or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, these are very flimsy. You can already see in there, these terminals are starting to splay and do their own thing. So it'll be nice just to plug in for charging straight on the auxiliary socket, and I can remove this and get rid of the bit of wiring I put in on the battery. There's not a lot of room in there, and it was almost touching the base of the seat, so that's a good thing. I can swap that out. And also, while I was out here, this is my long reach 19mm socket for the crash bungs. I don't know what I'd use this for in the past, amongst other things, probably to knock a bearing in or out of something, and it totally mushroomed the end of it, so I was struggling to get in. It was going in, but it was a bit of a tight fit in there. So all I did was stuck this on one of my drills with a half-inch adapter, and literally got some emery cloth and just spun this up and hand lathed the socket nice and snag free, swarf free, snag, whatever. So that's also something while I'm waiting for the postman. I wasn't expecting to do these today, because when I ordered the parts it said about a week's delivery, and then I got a email yesterday saying it's on its way yesterday, and then I got an email later yesterday saying it's not on its way, we delayed, it'll be coming today. So anyway, bonus, that can go on in a bit. Right, now this is actually running on tick over with its one ever so slightly noisy tappet. Not bad. It's not bad enough to change the camshaft. I did change all the hydraulic lifters and the valve stem oil seals and everything on it. Yeah, got one tappy cam lobe. It's not bad enough for me to worry about. I do have this engine here. This engine has actually got a brand new cam and lifters and everything in it, so you know, if the worst came to the worst, in fact it's got a brand new everything inside this tatty old exterior. So there you go. Right, parcel's just arrived. This one and this one, I'm not sure which goes which side, but the brackets are different, so that'll tell me. But before we do that, I need to eat. Nothing wrong with the van. I've just got visitors this weekend, so cars. So I've had to bring this one in here. My daughter's car's parked there. She's gone away for the weekend, but she's left her car, so I've had to make room for visitors' cars. Anyway, parcel's here. But before that, I'm hungry, and as part of my diet, 9 pounds now I've lost. Bacon in one of these machines. Surprisingly enough, it's all right. So I'm going to eat, and then we'll have a look at the crash bungs, which I nearly didn't get because the delivery driver was really strange. It says on the, I'll show you in a second. Okay, so that's the top line of the address. That's me. That's Tracy. And he's like, I can't leave it. It is not person. I'm like, that's me, Paul Springthorpe. Do you want me to show you my driving licence, ID? Oh, it has to be Paul. And Tracy answered, well, she's out. I'm here. I ordered it. It's my account. Anyway, eventually he handed it over. It probably was the baseball bat that convinced him. Right, food and crash bungs. Oh, bright light. bright light. Hang on. Well, I figured out which side is which bit. Typically, they're not. It's not 19 on the front. It's 17 on this one, and I think it might be a different size on that one down there. So anyway, I'm going to whip these off and put them on. That was pretty much rusty and horrible, so I've had to clean up. Brass wire brush, put some copper slip on there, to do with cleaning out the inside of this as well. I've had to clean out the thread in there as well and put a bit of debris in it. It was a bit reluctant. Should have run a tap down it really, but I've run this in and out a couple of times. So yeah, I don't know if that washer's supposed to be. That washer don't look like it goes with this. It's a bit sloppy, but it will stay there. I think more maybe it goes on the front end. Yeah, I'm going to stick it on the front end. That makes more sense. In fact, I took it off completely, rightly or wrongly. So a bit of a clean up. Oh dear. There's that one on that side. I'm going to stick the other one. Same process for the other side. If I can get that in there. And of course, this one's a 14. Probably not the original bolt. So let's put this on. Oh well, who would have thought something so simple could be so difficult? I've had these on and off so many times now. One of the bolts is too short, basically. This one I've managed to get on. I've also managed to break the trim while I was doing it. That's very common on these. So I'm not going to get new trim. I'm just going to epoxy it on like everybody else does. Such fun. Anyway, yeah, so I've got this side I've got to fit on with a long spacer and the long bolt that it came with, and this sized bung. This side fits on, but it should be further out. But the bolt, which has got a different size head to the other one, so it's obviously not the right bolt. I need a longer bolt to get the longer spacer in and a couple of washers to bring this out to the same width as the other side. Oh, never easy. I've had it in all different, tried all the spacers with the different bungs and different sizes. These bungs are slightly different sized as well, but that one on the other side, that is the only way that will fit. You can see what the clearance is there. The only way that's fitting there is that one. So I need a longer bolt, and then I can use a fatter spacer, or even two spacers or whatever. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm just going to take this piece off of here, and then I can take this to work or whatever to find longer bolts. I would take that one off, but while I was doing and experimenting, both of these have got helicoils in, and of course the first one I did up stripped out the helicoil. Luckily the helicoils are on that set and on this set. Luckily I got this set, so I took the bracket, this bracket I swapped. This was on the bike, the one that's on the bike now was in this kit, so I was very careful doing them up next time. Oh, so it's a good job I got this kit, or not. So I now need to find a longer bolt which fits into that thread, which is a helicoiled thread, or a bolt that fits into that thread and take the helicoil out and have the fatter bolt. I don't know. Oh, I'd had nearly every tool in the garage out as well. Right, so let's take that off and find out what thread it is. Alrighty, I've got one bolt in my stash that's the right size, so I can just figure out what length I need of this, one of these, and then just get one of these that's either long enough or too long. If it's too long, I can cut it down. But fortunately, it's really fine thread. It looks like that might be 1.25, or it might even be 1 mil pitch. I don't know, but anyway. And size, an 8 or a 10? I think that's a 10. I think that's a 10 by 1 or 10 by 1.25. Well, I have a pattern, so for now it's staying like that, and I need to probably take this bolt out before my thread lock sets and just find a bolt that's probably looking at probably 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch longer to get me further into the 1/2 inch longer would do that. 15 mil, say 12 mil, 15 mil, yeah, 1/2 inch longer. Then I can put a wider spacer and some washers on and we'll be sorted. Oh, that was fun. Battery's just about to run out on my phone, so what should have taken me about 20 minutes, half an hour, I've spent 2.5 hours on, and I haven't actually achieved the result I want, which is everything right. But I've measured it properly. I put the plastic bung to where I want it to fit on the fairing, and the bolt through that touching the face, it sort of touched perfectly. So then I knew I needed the bolt to be the width of the retaining bracket longer than that. Needs to be one of them, but 100 mil minimum, 110 mil max. I think I'm just about to die on battery, so peace and love. I've been Springy. Catch you next time.